Good evening, this is Brass Tax and Zakir Jacob. The 2,000 rupee note can now be exchanged or deposited starting tomorrow. You can go to your nearest bank branch and either deposit it in your account or exchange up to 10 notes at a time. The RBI Governor, Shaktikanta Das, today held a press conference and he said that there's no need to panic and that a large majority of the common people do not have 2,000 rupee notes. When asked what was the rationale behind putting a deadline, the 30th of September, so that people can either exchange or deposit these 2,000 rupee notes, even though these notes will continue to be legal tender even after that date, the RBI governor said that there needed to be some kind of a deadline for a bulk of these notes to come back into the banking system. What is interesting is, over the last couple of days since this announcement was made Friday night, there has been a significant jump in purchases of gold as well as the dollar using the 2,000 rupee note. Will all the outstanding 2,000 rupee notes come back into the banking system? As of the RBI's report of 31st March 2023, there are 3.62 lakh crores of value of 2,000 rupee notes that are in circulation. Will all of it come back into the system?
We are therefore withdrawing it from circulation, these 2,000 rupee notes, but they continue as legal tender.
Friday, RBI announced that it has decided to withdraw 2,000 rupee notes from its circulation. RBI has claimed that this decision won't affect the people in any manner whatsoever. Now, how exactly various markets, various sectors are reacting to this announcement? To find that out, we are right now in Mumbai's Zaveri Bazaar area. This is the hub for gold and jewelry as far as the satellite city is concerned. We are joined by a couple of jewelers. So I would like to know from you first that, since this announcement, have you witnessed any unusual development? Are you getting more customers with the 2,000 rupee note?
Certainly, we have seen an increase in inquiries and a little footfalls also has gained. And we expect more in the coming days. In the whole 4-month period, we expect a good amount of sales increase in this in the 2,000 notes denomination.
उस दिन से लेके आज तक कोई खास 2000 के नोट लेकर कस्टमर आया नहीं हमारे पास में। शादियों की भरमार है। 14 जनवरी से 14 जुलाई तक 70 लाख शादियां हैं। करीबन 2.30 लाख करोड़ रुपीस का बिजनेस होगा। ये सब जानते हुए भी हम जो महसूस कर रहे हैं कि नहीं, कस्टमर आ रहे हैं और कस्टमर जा रहे हैं, कस्टमर लेके जा रहे हैं। कोई कस्टमर खास आया नहीं कि 2000 के नोट हमको दिखा रहा हो कि भाई ये हमको देना है और इसके एक्सचेंज में लेना है। तो ऐसा हमने कुछ महसूस नहीं किया। तो कोई ऐसा स्ट्रेस या टेंशन नहीं है।
क्या आपने ये एक पैटर्न देखा है कि जब से आरबीआई ने 2000 करेंसी वापस ले ली है, उन्होंने बोला है कि ये सबको वापस रिटर्न करना है, क्या आपके शॉप पे या ज्वेलरी फ्रेटर्निटी में इसका चलन ज्यादा हो रहा है 2000 का लेकर के नोट?
90% कस्टमर्स बिल्कुल नॉर्मल हैं, कोई पैनिक नहीं है। लास्ट टाइम जो डिमोनेटाइजेशन हुआ था उसके कंपैरिजन में 10% भी कोई पैनिक नहीं है। जो रेगुलर कस्टमर्स हैं हमारे, उनके पास 2000 के नोट्स भी बहुत कम है। तो जो बड़े हैं, जो हाई क्लास से भी जो ऊपर हैं, जिनके पास ज्यादा है, उनकी इंक्वायरीज है मार्केट में। पर ज्वेलर्स ने ऑलमोस्ट सारे ज्वेलर्स ने यही बोला हुआ है 50,000 से ऊपर हम पैन कार्ड लेंगे। आप चाहे 50 लाख का खरीदो, चाहे 1 करोड़ का खरीदो, चाहे जितने मर्जी का गोल्ड खरीदो, पैन कार्ड आप देंगे तो हम आपको देंगे, नहीं तो गोल्ड नहीं मिलेगा। अगर 100 कस्टमर्स में से सिर्फ 5 कस्टमर्स ऐसे होंगे जो मतलब थोड़ा अमाउंट ज्यादा होल्ड करके बैठे होंगे। 95% कस्टमर्स बिल्कुल स्मूथ हैं, कोई पैनिक है ही नहीं कैसा भी।
How do you see the withdrawal of the 2000 currency note? And there are also reports that now many of the people are using in different means. They are getting exchange, and not just jewelry shop, but in exchange market as well. Your views as one of the common men, sir?
Well, I am in particular not at all affected because I haven't used 2000 rupee note for a very long time, and not only 2000. I use cash maybe 4, 5, 6,000 rupees a month. Remaining on all my dealings are digital currency.
All right, let's open this up to our panelists. The opposition is saying that the hoarders, the people who have hoarded 2,000 rupee notes, are now seeing an uptick in gold and dollar purchases, even at premium rates. But the government and the RBI governor, you heard from him earlier today, saying that there is no unusual activity. They expect it to be business as usual. Sanju Verma is national spokesperson of the BJP. Salman Soz, national spokesperson of the Congress Party. Gurcharan Das, senior economist, joining us. And Dr. S.C. Garg is former finance secretary to the government of India. Sanju Verma, you heard from some of the jewelers there in Zaveri Bazaar. Inquiries have gone up and some people have shown up with 2,000 rupee notes. We're getting similar reports in the unofficial dollar markets as well, where people are willing to pay a premium to get the dollar. Do you believe that people, the hoarders with 2,000 rupee notes, and I agree, a large majority of middle-class India does not have these 2,000 rupee notes, but the people who have hoarded this, do you believe they are parking their monies now in gold and in dollars? You have to unmute, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, we can't hear Sanju Verma. Let's try and see if we can... yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Okay. So, Zaka, what I was saying was you've asked me a very pertinent question, and let me come, to the answer. I will back straight with no ifs or buts whatsoever. The limited point is that, this has been discussed in the last 48 hours ad nauseum, that in 2018, in terms of value, the 2,000 rupee notes accounted for 37.3% of the overall currency or notes in circulation. That amount came down to 13.8% in March 2022. And as you and me speak now, in March 2023, in terms of value, the 2,000 rupee notes account for 10.8% of the overall notes in circulation. So the limited point number one, is that the total value of 2,000 rupee notes that are currently doing the rounds, are in circulation or are in business, is very minuscule in comparison to the overall notes in circulation. In volume terms, actually, the 2,000 rupee notes as a percentage of the overall currency in circulation is just 1.3%. It was 1.6% in 2022 and 2.4% in 2021. So again, both in terms of volume and value, the 2,000 rupee notes are not the normal, medium of transaction, either between B2B or B2C or any other form of transaction. So now, if you're seeing that suddenly there's a surge in gold that is being transacted, I find it very interesting, and I think one of the big reasons for actually having this calibrated withdrawal of the rupees 2,000 notes without indulging in demonetization is the fact that the government wanted to clamp down on hoarders, because the outstanding value of 2,000 rupee notes was 6.73 lakh crore in March 2018. It came down to 3.62 lakh crore now. So the 3.1 lakh crore, which is the difference between 6.73 and 3.62 lakh crore, that 3.1 lakh crore has largely, Zaka, been hoarded by hoarders. Because if you go to an ATM, when was the last time you went to an ATM to withdraw money and you saw your ATM machine cuffing out 2,000 rupee notes? I don't remember seeing that in the last 3 to 4 years.
Sure.
Because as the RBI governor mentioned, more than 89% of the 2,000 rupee notes went into print before 2017 and were completely stopped from production since financial year 2018-19. So the limited point is, will this clamp down on hoarders? Yes. Does that mean gold sales will go up or some high value property transactions might see the light of the day? Yes. But the most important thing, everything beyond 50,000 will need an identity proof, a proper requisition slip, be it a PAN card or Aadhaar, which means that there will be a legitimate paper trail. You can either legitimize your money that you have hoarded by way of 2,000 rupee notes by depositing them or buying gold or buying property, or you can choose not to do so, which means you will lose everything that you have.
So Salman, even if there is an uptick in people wanting to buy gold using 2,000 rupee notes or dollar purchases using 2,000 rupee notes, ultimately beyond a certain minimum threshold, you will have to show your PAN card, you will have to give some form of ID proof. So you will have a money trail, you will have a source that needs to be shown.
Zakat, this is a thoroughly incompetent government. They basically brought this economy to a halt. This economy is averaging 3.6% GDP growth since demonetization. They don't know what they're doing. They're basically creating drama-bazi every day. The fact of the matter is that this was, when they did demonetization, they said, this is a surgical strike on black money. We'll have some these notes which will have chips. We'll have corruption will be gone. There'll be no counterfeit money. Cash will have. Then they said no, there's going to be cashless economy. Have you forgotten all the things that they came up with? We're going to do this and that, and there's going to be digital this and digital that. Cash in circulation before demonetization was 11.5% of GDP. I think the latest data that I'm aware of, that puts it at about 13% of GDP. That means cash has actually gone up, not just in absolute numbers. It's almost like 33 lakh crore right now. It used to be 17 lakh crores. It's actually the ratio as the size of the economy, cash has gone up. Now, all this drama-bazi about how this, now they'll have to have 50,000 rupees and you have to do PAN and all this. There's nothing. It'll mean nothing. What it will mean is this: one more way in which the government is actually going to hurt the economy and nothing else. The RBI governor's, he came out today, and some of his comments were, quite frankly, I was a little puzzled. They were ludicrous. Mr. Das says that this is going to be legal tender, and then we will see what happens in September. When the RBI issues a currency, that is legal tender forever. You cannot say it's going to be legal tender till September and then we will see. Of course, then he says that everybody will accept this 2,000 rupee note. Of course, they're not going to accept this 2,000 rupee note. I challenge you, Zaka, to go to one of the markets tomorrow and start giving them 2,000 rupee notes. Then I will see. They're disruptive people. They have destroyed this economy. This economy was humming along nicely, and now you're going to have some.
Let me ask Subhash Chandra Garg, and then Mr. Gurcharan Das has also been waiting patiently. Mr. Garg, the contention is that more than 95% of ordinary people don't have any stacks of 2,000 rupee notes. The 3 or 4 or 5% people who do will always find ingenious ways, like the rich people during demonetization found ingenious ways to exchange their notes, of course, with help from personnel in the banking system. Tomorrow, when these counters open for exchange of notes or deposit of notes, do you foresee that kind of circumventing of the system? Because ultimately, this whole exercise will only be successful if nearabouts this 3.62 lakh crore come back into the banking system with a formal money trail. Because if it doesn't, then you know that money has been hoarded, and that money has been either parked in gold or in real estate or in dollar purchases. But people, the whole point of this exercise would then have been lost.
See, there is no data, there is no survey, there is no statistics which tells you who is holding these 3.26 lakhs crores rupees of 2,000 rupees note, which are still in circulation. And any premise that it's being hoarded by only 1% or some rich, I think these are all speculative. There is no real basis for it. What we know for reasonable certainty is that 2,000 rupees note is not being used for transactions for last quite some time. Yeah. And most of the people have not come across or use 2,000 rupees note in their daily transactions for quite some time. Now, be it as it may, this amount, these notes which are still with the people would need to be exchanged or deposited in their account or used in the transactions in times to come for next 4 months or so. which is what begins tomorrow. Now, your question about what is likely to happen, whether the people would circumvent the legal system or all, I don't think there is any need for this time. People have various options. Either you can deposit in your bank account, or you can exchange it across the counter, or you can use in transactions. The reports are suggesting that the people are already using the 2,000 rupees note for buying petrol, paying e-commerce companies and others.
Yeah.
So the transaction is going on. So I don't suspect there might be a minuscule minority of people who have 2,000 rupees note as proceeds of corruption.
Let me rephrase my question. So by 30th of September 2023, do you expect, Mr. Garg, that a bulk of this 3.62 lakh crore will come back into the formal banking system?
Absolutely. My estimates are very clear that 97 to 99% of the 2,000 rupees note in circulation will come back by 30th of September.
Okay.
Even before, you don't have to wait for 30th of September to do it.
Okay, so then let me ask Gurcharan Das, then what is this brouhaha about? Because the opposition is going on and on that, you know, this is demonetization 2.0, that this is slow-mo demo, this is the second disastrous strike by the Modi government, so on and so forth. You're going to start having queues of people starting tomorrow outside bank branches and ATMs like we saw the last time around wanting to exchange their 2,000 rupee notes. They've even gone to the extent of saying that the rich people, the hoarders of 2,000 rupee notes, are going to pay poor people to stand outside banks and exchange their money for a cut.
I think this is much ado about nothing. Frankly, it's par for the course, but I do believe that it was not necessary to make any announcement at all. These notes, they had stopped printing the notes 4 years ago, and they were just going to, their life was going to be over in a few years. And so, by making the announcement, you know, the traumatic sort of memory of 2017 has returned, and there has been some panic about it. It was, I think, it's lack of common sense to have made any announcement like this at all. So I think both sides are wrong. Congress is wrong, and I mean, I respect the RBI governor, but this particular, there need not have been any announcement.
But had they not announced,
was down from
Mr. Das, had they not
37%
announced, how would a bulk of this money come back? The whole point was that they wanted to phase out this 2,000 rupee
Yeah,
note.
but you know, it's very little. And look, it's such a small, you know, let's talk about state capacity. The bankers, the even RBI people, why should they be fooling around with things like this? It's a very small amount for a 5th largest economy in the world. You're not going to be able to catch crooks as you didn't last time because they're just too clever for this. So we didn't learn any lesson from that. So my point is, just let sleeping dogs lie. It was going out, it would have got finished, and theek hai, for such a big economy. I mean, what we should be discussing even today is that 20% tax. That's the terrible thing, that credit card tax.
But that's been clarified by the that's been clarified by the RBI, by the Finance Ministry. Sorry, to the tune of 7 lakh rupees, there will not be any tax collected at source of 20%.
I know, but why create a panic? Why? This is the 5th largest economy in the world.
Okay.
And you are, by these kind of actions, you're going against your aspirations. And for an aspirational, that's not going to achieve anything either.
Okay, so
all
Sanju
I'm
Verma,
saying is
the point
capacity.
that Mr. Das is making is, you know, and in any case, this note had been stopped printing by the RBI since 2018-19. So for the last 4 years, there's been no printing of this note. As you said, ATMs have not coughed up the 2,000 rupee note in the recent past. So why not let sleeping dogs be? And secondly, I think the larger point he's also making is, if the purpose of this exercise is to catch the hoarders, then how is this purpose being served? Because the hoarders are already converting this into either real estate transactions or dollars or gold?
You know, I have tremendous respect for Mr. Das, but, he said, let sleeping dogs lie. So with offense to none, sleeping dogs can often come back to bark and bite. Let's move away from metaphors and just talk hard facts here. Mr. Shaktikanta Das, the RBI head honcho, is well within his rights, irrespective of what others might think, as per Section 24 and Section 26(2)(b of the RBI Act of 1934, to decide when to remonetize, how much to remonetize, when to demonetize, whether to simply have a calibrated withdrawal, which is what we are doing currently. It is not a demonetization. That is the prerogative of the RBI governor. Point number one. And he is going by the rule book. Point number two. I think if you notice, nowhere did the RBI governor use the word black money this time. But anyone who understands basic textbook economics knows that now the hoarders cannot be in hiding. They will have to come out, they will have to either invest in gold or mutual funds or high value property transactions, leaving a legitimate paper trail.
No, but you said this the last time also, Sanju Verma. You said this No, you said this the last time also. How many hoarders did you catch?
I'm coming to that, Zaka, I'm coming to that, which means that there will be a legitimate paper trail. Had there been no announcement, I doubt that the 3.1 lakh crore of 2,000 rupee notes which are in circulation would have actually been de-hoarded by the hoarders. Now coming to what Salman source from the Congress said. He said this government has destroyed the economy, and Zaka, I will take 30 seconds to nail his lies because that's a very reckless allegation. I hope Mr. Soos knows that for the third year in a row this time, even with a 5.9% GDP growth, which is what IMF is projecting for FY 2023-24, we will be the fastest growing economy after doing 8.2% in FY 21 and 7% in financial year 2021-22. This, when Germany and UK are going to see negative growth of between 0.1 to 0.7%, this, when the UK and the US are going to see not only a GDP growth of less than 1%, but there are chances of recession in large parts of the Western world. And we are still going to be the fastest growing economy. So, Mr. Soos, you need to have a sense of proportion. And the last point, Zaka, last point. I admit, could we have, done more in terms of unearthing black money with demonetization? Of course, yes, I won't deny that. But let's be very clear. I remember P. Chidambaram on the floor of the parliament mocking the Modi government's attempts to create a digital India. And tell me, Zaka, prior to November 2016, it was in November 2016 we announced demonetization. In October 2016, we had only 92,000 digital trades done via the UPI, and the total value was a measly 48 crore. What was that in April 2023? The total value of UPI trades was a massive 14.07 lakh crore, amounting to 6.5% of India's GDP. The total number of UPI trades in volume terms were 890 crore. 890 crore transactions worth more than 14 lakh crore in a single month in April 2023, thanks to demonetization. And we don't need a certificate from wannabes like Mr. Soos and out on bail.
So Mr. Soos, 2 points there. One, about the digitization. Yes, demonetization did have an impact on that. I think the last month transactions in UPI was like 80 billion or something. And as Sanju Verma said, after demonetization 1, the figure that's been cited by the government of the number of shell companies that have been shut down is over 2.25 lakh. So the point is that this is, much more of the economy has been forced to go formal because of demonetization, and they believe that the same thing will happen with the holders of 2,000 rupee notes in this round.
Zaka, just give me a little bit of time because you gave the others plenty of time too. Let me go to Mr. Das's point first. This whole notion that, the RBI is also wrong and the Congress and the opposition is also wrong. I think that's false equivalence. Our basic point is that, and he will agree, I'm sure, and as will Mr. Garg. I don't know about Sanju, but the other two gentlemen will certainly agree that macroeconomic stability is of prime importance for any country to have sustained development. Without macro-fiscal, the macroeconomic part and the fiscal part, without that stability, you don't really do well. And that's what, demonetization was a horrible thing. And even this is horrible, even though this may be smaller in magnitude. You don't want instability. And I think that is what Mr. Das was also alluding to. And Mr. Garg is absolutely right. He's an experienced economist. He knows. He was a former finance secretary. He knows that all of this money is going to come back, just like all that other money came back. 99.3% of it came back. And I'm sure some of it is still lying around with people, not because they didn't want to return it, but because they were not unable to return it in time. So I think macro stability is of utmost importance, but the Modi government has not understood that basic point. As far as this whole notion that somehow digitalization has happened and there's a formalization of the economy, let me remind you, Zaka, again, of the data that I shared with you, which is about cash in circulation as a share of the economy.
I want to answer
cash in circulation as a share of the economy now is higher than it was before demonetization. That means the rate at which the non-cash economy was growing faster then. So, the digitalization that you speak about, the UPI transaction, they were already happening, they were growing. Now, you disrupted the economy. Now, please explain to me, Zaka, if cash in circulation as a share of the economy is higher now than it was in 2016-17. How can you make the argument? Digitalization is a normal thing. It would happen anyway.
Sanju, quickly respond to that. I want to go to Mr. Garg after that. Yeah. Sanju, what is the logical explanation for that then?
Okay, Zaka, I want to ask one very important question to Salman Soz here. He talks about macro stability. Let me tell you one very important thing. This whole halabaloo and brouhaha that, cash transactions have not gone down and, cash in circulation is still 33 lakh crore. Mr. Salman Soz, in 2016, the absolute size of India's economy was $2.2 trillion, when the cash in circulation was 17 lakh crore. Today, the absolute size in nominal terms of the Indian economy is $3.5 trillion, and the cash in circulation is just 33 lakh crore. The limited point is that the size of the economy in the last 6 or 7 years is up 59%. So if you do the arithmetic, and I'm sure you know basic arithmetic, actually the percentage of cash vis-a-vis the percentage rise in GDP is far lower, and that is exactly what demonetization sought to achieve. You've got your numbers wrong.
All right. So, S.C. Garg, I'll give you the final word. Do you see this as a far less disruptive process than what we saw in 2016-17 when demonetization was announced? And more importantly, what about this? What if tomorrow more than this 3.6 lakh crores comes back into the banking system? Because after all, as per the RBI's own estimates, 5 years ago, the amount of 2,000 rupee notes by value that was in circulation was 6.73 lakh crore. That has come down to 3.62. Where is that differential, that extra 3 lakh crores?
See, that extra 3 lakh crore has already gone back to the Reserve Bank and has been destroyed in the process. For last quite some time, the banks were collecting the 2,000 rupees note and handing it over back to the RBI. It's not with the people. This is a gross misunderstanding. This is already out of the system, destroyed, done with it. Now the question was what to do with the remaining. You had two options. Either you allow what Mr. Das was saying, that let it remain as it is in 3 or 4 years in its natural way, it would have gone down to the RBI or got destroyed in the system. Or do a fast-track process that this 2,000 rupees note doesn't fit well with the notion that if a high-value note of 500, 1,000 rupees is considered susceptible for being misused to hoard black money, why should 2,000 rupees note remain in the system? And therefore the government came up with a very sensible option that, all right, now we have sufficient cash in the system. All other notes are doing all that job. and 2000 rupees note is not required. So just hand it over back to us and take other smaller notes.
Okay.
So I think that's absolutely par for the course. This option is appropriate. This will make 2000 rupees note as a history in very short time.
Mr. Das, how concerned would you be that some of this money could be parked in non-liquid assets, whether it is real estate, whether it is gold? And I believe in the unofficial forex markets in Delhi and in Mumbai, people are willing to pay even up to 95 rupees for a dollar to exchange vis-a-vis the 2000 rupee note.
You know, some of this will happen. My big point is, don't create disruption for the 5th largest economy in the world. If the demonetization of 2017 had not occurred, you would not have had the sort of history, the fear, the panic and all that. Now, it hasn't created a panic now, but it's insensitive in that context to even to do something like this. You know, it just conjures up bad memories. And it's, you know, good economies, well-regulated economies are predictable economies. This is why often foreigners complain that India is not a predictable place for investment.
Okay.
It's not a friendly place for investment. China is a lot friendlier, they used to say. And, well, until recently, that's what China was. That's why. So what I'm saying is that we deserve to think in a bigger way. This was not such a big deal. And why make a big deal out of it? That's all. Okay. I mean, I don't think you're going to catch crooks with it. And it was not worth fast-tracking it either, frankly.
All right, we'll leave it at that. We'll see like I said, the exchange of notes, the deposit of these notes will start from tomorrow. So we'll have our reporters outside bank branches, outside the RBI to see whether we're going to see similar scenes as 2016-17. I suspect not, because like all our panelists have been pointing to, the amount or the value of these 2000 rupee notes that are in circulation is only 10% of all the total value of currency in circulation. So I guess at least to that extent, you will see far less panic in queues outside ATMs and bank branches. But let's